Hi everyone, Haley with Adashi here. And in this next video, I will be walking you through the process of how to set up and configure accruals in the roll call system. So here I am logged into Adashi RollCall at the administrator level. And to start the process of setting up or configuring accruals, I would need to go across the red menu bar here at the top over to where it says admin and click or push on that. Then once I'm on the admin page, I would come over here on the left and go down to where it says accruals, and then go down to accruals types. This is the page where I can see the different accruals types that have already been set up here in my department. Since in my case, I am set up in a training version, I'm probably going to have quite a few different accruals in mine than what you might have in yours. But to set up a new accrual type, you would go up across the top of this page here to where it says New and push that button right there. Then that will open up this page. The first thing I will need to do when setting up a new accrual type will be to give that accrual type a name. So in my case, I am going to set up sick time. So I will put the name sick time right in here. Then down here on the next one down, accrual period, this is where I will need to decide if this is going to be a rolling accrual or an annual accrual. The difference being that an annual accrual resets each year on a specified date, and a rolling accrual will continue indefinitely. How accruals accumulate and if they are rolling or annual will be dictated by union and department rules. And in this video, I am just showing you how to set these up in roll call based on your department's specific rules. So the one I am setting up here is sick time, and in my case, that is going to be a rolling accrual. So I will choose that right there. Then next down here under commencement date is where I will need to set the date that these accruals will start. In my case, I am going to choose November 1st, 2019 for mine. Under type here, it will be hours. Then I will need to decide if the breaches need to be checked or verified for this type of accrual. If you choose yes here, then down here below where it says breach permissions, you will need to choose who these permissions apply to. In my case, I'm going to mark that the breach check is not required, so I will leave that no right there. Then I will need to set up how often this accrual type is awarded. So I would need to go over next to accrual type right here where it says awards and push on that. And then down below here, I would push where it says add. This will open up a pop-up box right here in the middle. First, I will need to choose what rotation this will affect. In my case, it will be this suppression rotation, but it would be specific to whatever rotations you have in your department. Then here where it says rank, I would need to choose what rank or role this accrual will affect. Here I can choose select all if this will apply to everyone on this rotation, or if it only applies to certain ranks, then I would go down and choose each one. In my case, this is just going to affect firefighters, so I'm going to come down and choose firefighters and click right there. Then under allocation, I will choose how it allocates or accumulates based on years of service. So here on mine, I'm going to put for years of service from 0 to 99. Under allocation, it would be the number of hours of sick time they will get. So in my case, it's going to be 8 hours of sick time. Then over in the last column here where it says carryover max is where the accrual system will use this value to determine how many hours are carried over once the start date for this accrual is passed after a year. If there is a set number of hours that can be carried over, you would put that in here. Or if you are not imposing a limit to how much of this accrual can be carried over, then you would leave this number here all nines. Then I would come down to where it says award frequency is where we will choose how often this will be added to the accrual. In my case, it will be weekly, but here you can also choose biweekly, monthly, or annually, depending on the type of accrual that you are setting up. For each of these that you choose, you would need to choose the award day down here below. So in my case, since I'm choosing weekly, the award day or when this will be added each week will be on Sundays. So when you're choosing here, if you choose weekly or biweekly, then the award day down here below would be Sunday through Saturday that you would have to choose. If you choose monthly, then you would choose what date by number that you want it to apply on. So if it's the first day of the month, you would choose 1, etc. If you choose annually, then you would just need to choose what month and what date right here. But in my case, I'm going to choose weekly and have it apply on Sundays. Then I would come down to the bottom and hit add right there. Then once I have added that, you can see that it will show up right here under the award for this accrual type. If I want to see the details, I would just hit this plus sign over here on the left, and that will open up a box below where I can see the details of that award. Then the last box on a new accrual type would be the accrual rules box right here. So if I go over to that and push add, this is where I would set up the rules specific to this new accrual type. Then you will see it has this pop-up box that comes up, which is where I can assign the specific rules to this accrual type, which in my case I was setting up sick time. So this is where we would assign the booking codes that will be affected by this accrual, and also how much the amount adds or subtracts to the accrual bank when they are used or when it's added. So for the rule name on mine, I'm going to name this sick deduct because this will be how this sick time deducts when it is used. So then here I would choose the booking codes that would be affected when an employee uses this sick time or when they deduct this sick time. The codes here will be specific to your department. So then you would just choose which code will be affected. So for this one, I am just going to choose that it will be leave that will be affected. Then I would choose the subcode here as well. And in my case, I am going to choose the FMLA sick and the regular sick leave right there, that those will be the two that will be affected by this. In my case, I will be leaving the percentage length here at 100%. But what this means is in some departments, if your percentage length will add or subtract a certain percentage less than 100% to the accrual bank, you would adjust that right here. Then down here, the change to accrual, since this is how it will be deducting, I am going to mark right here that this will actually decrease each time this is selected. Then I will add this as the rule here. So then you can see that I have created the accrual rules for this accrual type. I have already created the award rotation or when this will be added to my accrual bank. And I've created the accrual type sick time. So once I have done all three of these tabs here, I would just come back up to the top of this page here and push save. And then you can see on mine right down here, I have created the accrual type of sick time, which is a rolling accrual. If I click on that, it will show me all of the details of that accrual type that I've created. Then if I come back over here to accrual types by clicking on accrual types here on the left, that brings me back out to my main accrual type page. Now I want to walk you through creating an annual accrual, which is an accrual that will reset each year on a specified date. So we are already back on our main accruals type page, but to get there again, you would go to admin across the top, go to accruals here on the left, and then go down to accruals types. Then we will go up to the top again and push new to start a new accrual. This will open up the page that we just went through before, but this time I will be setting up an annual accrual type as opposed to a rolling accrual. So we will need to give this accrual a accrual type name. In my case, I am going to name this one vacation time. So I would put that name here in the name box. As I said, this one is going to be an annual accrual as opposed to a rolling accrual. So I'll come down and click on annual accrual. Then I would just need to choose a start date. In my case, this will be January 1st, but in some departments, this may start on a fiscal year date or a mid-year date. So you can choose to change that right here. The type here again will be hours, and then as before, if the breach check will be required, we would change this to yes, and then choose who would need to verify that. But in my case, I'm going to leave this as a no. Then I would need to go over to the awards tab here to set up how often this accrual type will be awarded. So I'll just click on that. Then again, we would just push add right here at the top. That opens up this pop-up box. So again, I would need to choose what rotation. In my case, I'm going to choose suppression, but it would be whatever rotation it will affect in your department. Then I would need to choose the specific ranks. Here again, I can choose select all if this will apply to everyone, or if it only applies to certain ranks, that I would go down and choose each one individually or just the specific one. In my case, I am setting up the vacation time specific to firefighters, so I'm just going to come down here and choose firefighters. Then here under allocation, this will be a bit different than it was on my rolling awards. Since this is an annual award, I will need to assign how many vacation hours they get based on their years of service. So then in my case, for years of service, I'm going to put 0 to 1 under allocation. I'm going to put 5. And then how much can be carried over. Here I'm going to just leave that as the maximum that can be carried over. But if there's a certain number that can be carried over, you would change that right here. Then that would be for the first line here for years of service. Then I would add a line here by pushing this plus sign for each time the amount of accrued vacation increases based on the years of service from when the employee was hired by the department. I will continue adding lines this way each time the vacation accrual increases at a set number of years of service. Once I have added all of the lines by years of service that I want to add here, then I can come down here and decide the award frequency. Again, it can be weekly, biweekly, monthly, or annually. In my case, it's going to be biweekly or every pay period. Once I have filled in all of these boxes, how they should be set up for this specific type of accrual, I would just push add right here. And then again, as before, the last one I would do is come over to accrual rules. Then here I would push add to assign the rules specific to this type of accrual that I'm creating. Then here in this pop-up box again, I would just assign the specific rules. So in this case, it's going to be how my vacation will deduct. So I will name it vacation deduct. I will come down and choose the booking codes that will apply here as I did before. So I want to come down and choose, in my case, it will be vacation, but these codes may be different based on your department. Then if there are subcodes, I would come down and choose those as well. Then here under type is where I can set the system to deduct a fixed amount that does not pay attention to the booking length, or I can change it to percentage and I can add or deduct a percentage of the booking length from this accrual. And then here you would assign how this will change the accrual. Since this is going to be a vacation deduct, I am going to change this to show that this will deduct right here, and then I will add this. As before on the rolling accrual type, once we have filled in all of the information under accrual rules, awards, and accrual type, then we have created this accrual. To save it, we would just come up to the top and push save right there. Then now we can see here on the accrual tab under accrual types, the two accrual types that we have just created right here. And if we wanted to view information on either of these, we would just click on that to view that information. This video has been a walkthrough of how you would set up accrual types, whether they are rolling or annual within Adashi RollCall.